you gentlemen would like to introduce yourself.
Nicholas, please.
Hi, yeah, I'm Nick Fuentes. First time here on the Timcast. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you do?
Oh, I'm a live streamer.
And of
He's
course,
a
Milo,
Nazi.
you were here a couple weeks ago. All right, and I'll just pull up this story from The Hill, which is from
where's
earlier
Kanye?
today at 5 p.m. Pence says Trump should apologize. It's wrong to give anti-Semite a seat at the table. How did this dinner come to happen, and what happened?
I was talking to Trump for about a month. We had scheduled the dinner in October, and then he announced for president. He pushed the dinner back to November. And I've been pulling together a campaign. And after I put up the DEF CON tweet, a bunch of people that had been canceled, like Alex Jones, I started getting in contact with other people that were now on the inside of the matrix. And Alex Jones, producer, said that Milo wanted to contact me.
So that's how you guys got in contact.
Yeah, originally, and then I suggested that we bring in Nicholas as a enormous extra brain firepower that he is. He's most extraordinarily brilliant political commentator of his generation, and he's been treated just about as badly as anybody. So I thought he deserved to be in the room too.
He was rolling with me. I was impressed with Nick, and I was like, just come to the dinner. When Trump came in, I said, do you want to sit alone? He's like, no, bring your friends in. So a big thing is like Trump had no idea who Nick Fuentes was. But this whole, I just got to go right to the heart of this anti-Semite claim that's happening. This
Baby
is
F.
something, if you read the definition, it says you can't claim that there's multiple people inside of banks or in media that are all Jewish, or you're anti-Semitic.
Let me tell you my issue. I don't like identitarianism. You guys are familiar with what that is?
Well, they started it, and they've been visiting on us.
Yeah, unless it's white
About
identitarianism.
running for president, you immediately said, well, you'd be good for the black vote. And I said, is that because I'm black? No, not just because of that. So is that. Are you doing the same thing?
I didn't say that was the only reason. I said it was because you're...
Wow, he's so good. Tim Pool, esteemed.
probably would do well
Brilliant.
with the black vote. Absolutely.
No, he wouldn't. No, he didn't.
I think race plays a role in a lot of things. Absolutely. And I think that
I think the construct of race has really been forced upon us as just something for us to be woke about and just constantly talk about and use it as these like walls. Someone at Cohen Resnick tells me, and I tell all of my finance people, never use the term a lot, but they said, okay, you're gonna have to pay a lot of taxes. And that made me feel like they're just like waiting, like we finally got them. We finally can put him in jail. And I was like, can I still run for president in jail? I found out I could. So I was like, okay, that's fine then. It'll be okay. So they put a $75 million hold on 4 of my accounts. And then they said,
There is a guy who ran from prison, by the way.
6 hours to find out how much a lot was. They said, well, around
Of course,
50
his political opinions were on the exact opposite side of everyone at that table.
Like, okay, so would this be tax evasion? Because I'm obviously not the most financially literate person on the planet. I was just a child, basically. Like when you become famous, you stop growing at that point. I became famous at age 24, and I had handlers around. I had my mom around, different things. Next year I was supposed to make $500 million in royalties, and like no one needs this amount of money. But when I would work on homeless shelters and ideas, I'd have a contractor, we won't say what race, and they'd be tearing down the contracts. To come in here, I feel like it's a setup to be like defending. I'm not going to go through another, like I'm literally going to walk the F off the show if I'm sitting up here having to, talk about, you can't say that it was Jewish people that did it when every sensible person knows that. I mean, Jon Stewart knows what happened to me, and they took it too far. It was like American History X. Like my head was on the side of the curve, and the exact people that I called out kicked my head. We found out that my trainer was a MK Ultra Canadian intelligence.
This part is not wrong. He's not wrong. His trainer is a weird guy.
In the Canadian
Everything else he said is insane, but his trainer, weird guy. I told you guys this already.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, look,
He's not
they
chat.
tried to
He's
medicate
fucking
me.
crazy, but he's not wrong about
They wrongly
that.
diagnosed me, and they when I asked them how much lithium did you want to put me on exactly, it took them 4 days to answer because they were embarrassed about the amount, right? And I refused to take this, right? You understand that if I had taken the medication, I would not be here, and it would have been, he was deeply troubled. We miss him. We love his music, though.
Well, they would have Britney Spears you. I mean,
I don't know about the
Michael
MK Ultra
Jackson,
thing.
the
I don't know
whole
about the
works.
MK Ultra
So-
connection. I've heard this as well. I've heard the MK Ultra connection as well, but Harley Pasternak is fucking crazy.
Or when you say drugs, are that like performance-enhancing drugs, or are they
all
just,
kinds of drugs.
Oh, right. Okay.
So working for the military, I wasn't governed by the same laws that the typical person was. So I could look at the impact of certain drugs that are not everyday things. So we looked at a drug called modafinil.
10 years of that medication wrecked her brain. You can see it now.
Yeah.
You can see there's not much of her left.
You mentioned Pasternak was the name?
Yes, Harley Pasternak. That's the text message that you
Yes.
posted that we were talking about before.
Here's
That's the lobotomy
let me-
threat. You know?
Yeah.
Before the show, obviously, I'm getting a bunch of messages from people. People are hitting me up, and they're like, you shouldn't host them. They're anti-Semitic. They're white supremacists. They're racist. I do find it funny or weird or whatever that, Nick, they call you a white supremacist. You're here working
Yes,
with...
Harley, dude, yes, his trainer is Jewish, but that doesn't mean anything. Shut the fuck up. His trainer being Jewish has nothing to do with the situation. His trainer is weird, though.
platform them. And I said, well, I want to understand what they're thinking and why they're thinking it. They're involved in what may be the biggest news story of the past week, and we have an opportunity to sit down and talk
Because
with
the
them.
red media controls both sides. It just said it as simple as possible. Jared Kushner was next to Trump. Ron Emanuel was next to Obama.
But see,
since 1940, go ahead.
I was going to say, isn't that an issue of these individuals? Like you're extrapolating.
I'm not having. I'm going to order with the last of my money that's available in a different account. I'm going to order a PJ before I sit and have another Lex Friedman setup conversation. When I'm literally they're trying to put me in jail for my opinion.
But I
I'm
get
not,
that.
I'm not going to have that opinion. I don't care about people.
Did Tim Pool just
those
say
are bots that are
Nick
trying
can't
to
be
you
racist 'cause
realize,
he's
look at
friends with
Pence.
Kanye? Is that what he said?
He sold Trump out. You get what I'm saying? It's like I would have never wanted to do anything that hurt Trump. Like,
Here's what I was trying to get
Yeah.
to. You went right into the anti-Semite thing. I think it's something that should be talked about. But if you start bringing this up, you're going to ask my opinion on it. I'm going to disagree with you.
I didn't ask your opinion on it. You jumped into it. I don't care about your opinion. I like your opinion on how we win an election, but I don't care
harvesting.
about anybody's opinion, bro. I lost. They tried to put me in jail. They blocked $2 billion I had. Like what I told Farrakhan, I said, look, is it anti-Semitic for me to say his name out loud? Like I told
minister.
Yeah, the minister. Like I told
Obama met with him too.
Oh, he was. Yeah, I mean, the Jewish people allowed Obama to meet with the minister. So Farrakhan said, well, did he have the money? The contract for the next 4 years, if I hadn't done anything, would have been $500 million a year for 4 years. I thought I was more Malcolm X, but I find out I'm more MLK because as I'm getting hosed down every day by the press and financially, I'm just standing there. And when I found out that they tried to put me in jail, it was like a dog was biting my arm, and I almost shed a tear, almost. But I still walked in stride through it. Yeah.
I think they've been extremely unfair to you.
Who was they though? We can't say who they is,
corporate
can we?
press. I'm not using I don't use the word as the way I guess you guys use. I'm talking
It is
about
them, though, isn't it? I mean, because
No.
because when you think about it, consider it. In 2018.
What do you mean it's not?
What do I mean? Like, okay, so how about? Are you leaving?
Are you referring to the press?
He's gone. I'll say it right now. You guys want to bring that stuff up? And then
Have
think
the
we're not going
discussion.
to have a
Like,
conversation?
have the discussion.
Like you think he's going to come in here and say, here's my pain, here's my suffering. I'm going to say, I hear you. And then he's going to say, and it was Jewish people. And I'm going to be like, okay, but don't you consider it's like, I'm not going to do this. I refuse.
Make sure he's cool.
All right, go for it. Luke and I will have a conversation. So I can't say I'm surprised. What do I even do? Other than ask him, please elaborate on this. Are you referring to individuals? Or are you quite literally blaming an entire group of people for the fact that powerful individuals are causing you harm.
I really wanted to ask Nick about his thoughts about MLK because I know they contradict his comments about that. But again, these are mass generalizations that don't really help anyone in my perspective. They just
why? It's now just the Nazi. Now the interview is just the Nazi and Tim Pool.
White men are responsible for everything. When I see people just use generalizations, it kind of cheapens the conversations.
I said, this is going to be a big issue. Before the show, obviously, people are going to bring up the questions of anti-Semitism. Why don't we talk about the news? I want to hear what happened with this meeting. I want to understand what Ye 24 is. And then we can do a longer conversation about any of that stuff. And Ye literally in the first 5 minutes says, no, I want to talk about a group of people and point to them. Whatever, man. You want to know why? Look, you're not going to sit
88,000 people now know Nick Fuentes is just Kanye West's friend.
Literally, I said a couple sentences.
Still not addressing that he's a fucking Nazi. Very weird.
Man. He seriously can't handle. He can't handle it.
It's been 23 minutes.
Piers Morgan interview he did, but he came back.
Unfortunate they walked out. Fine, maybe they'll come back. Whatever. This is the biggest challenge with dealing with identitarianism. I do not believe that the predeterminate factor in someone's worth, value, or agenda is based on immutable characteristics. Kanye is a black man. He does not represent all black people. There are Jewish individuals who work in banks. Dave Chappelle made the joke about Jewish people in Hollywood. And he said, but it doesn't mean anything. You got a lot of black people in Ferguson, doesn't mean they run the place. The point is, I'm all about individualism, meritocracy, personal responsibility.
Now he's just using this as an opportunity to promote himself. That's all he's doing.
More importantly, we have
big W for Tim. I hate to admit.
Jewish who spend time in Israel and would.
He's just making himself look like the sane person here. Still has not addressed that the fucking dude is a Nazi. He's just sitting across from a Nazi dude.
But then it's just like
very
every step
weird.
Of the way it's like, bro, if you live in a world where a single group of people is haunting you, you're trapped. You're not going to get out. And
Nick left too?
Because I wanted to get into the Trump stuff.
I don't even care about fucking Kanye West saying some dumb shit on the podcast. I cannot comprehend how he just had Nick Fuentes there. And like the only thing he said about Nick Fuentes was Nick can't be a Nazi because he's friends with Kanye West. That is fucking absolutely mind-boggling. Like, what is happening right now? This is the moment where Kanye West leaves. He's like, they tried to fucking put me in jail.
I think they've been extremely unfair to you.
Who was they though? We can't say who they is,
corporate
can we?
press. I don't use the word as the way I guess you guys use. I'm talking about.
It is them though, isn't it? I mean, because because when you think
immediately Nick comes in salivating, horny to just be like they, the Jews. Okay,
think about it. Consider it. In 2018.
What do you mean it's not?
What do I mean? Like, okay, so how about? Are you leaving?
Are you afraid of the press?
He got fucking mad. He's upset when someone automatically doesn't agree with like anti-Semitic rhetoric. He's just like, I'm leaving. You didn't say they are the Jews and they control the media. I'm out. That's crazy. The thing about Tim Pool is that he will let you do anti-Semitism. He will have you on if you're just like lightly doing anti-Semitism. That's the thing. But Kanye's like, no, you have to literally fucking like let me say Jews.
But I gotta say, man, if this, like, why would someone vote for this?
Right. That's what's already been mentioned in the super chats as well.
Yeah. Look,
I'm not sure what he
reality.
was referring to that happened this morning.
He said he found out they want to put him in jail.
But what exactly does that mean?
Well, it sounds like what he was saying was he found out this morning that they're saying he owes taxes,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
and that if he doesn't pay them, they're going to lock him up or something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then the thing that he walked out on was you asked him to clarify who you meant by they specifically. That's pretty.
Oh, right, because I said
you were saying they as in the corporate media.
The establishment.
Bro, let's be real. So Kanye West left. He left the building. Let's be fucking real. If you can't even do a fucking broadcast because you're so up your own ass, if you can't even do a broadcast with like very obviously a right-wing person like Tim Pool, who unironically said that Donald Trump was going to win 49 states. Like if you can't go on that podcast, which is, I would say to the right, I think to the right of Fox News didn't say Donald Trump's going to win 49 states. If you can't even go on that podcast, bro, you're fucking cooked. Like you have lost your fucking mind completely. I don't think Fox News would have Nick Fuentes on without addressing that he's a Nazi. I'll say it. The only person I could think of that would have Nick Fuentes on the broadcast would be Tucker Carlson. And even then, I don't know if Tucker Carlson would have him on without addressing it. He has gotten worse and worse over the course of the past couple of months. Tucker will have him on 100%. Yeah, right, dude. Tucker deleted the fucking Jews part of Kanye's conversation from his interview. What are you talking about? I think a lot of you guys forget that Fox News is mainstream media. One of the main reasons why Tucker Carlson is an incredibly effective propagandist is because he doesn't go overboard. He toes that line perfectly. Ultimately, this is not a bad thing because instead of having Nick Fuentes hide his power levels and like talk as though he was maybe not a Nazi or whatever, which he can't fucking stop himself from doing, by the way. Like, it's the one thing you're not supposed to do and you're fucking it up. He puts on a fucking fat smile and just starts saying, you know who they are. Chad is wilding over there. Tim don't want to upset the Jews, hence his cowardness. He's scared to be canceled by the Jews. This is his super chat. Dude, YouTube is fucking sick. Jewish texts are violently anti-gentile. It is relevant. The ADL has disproportionate power and literally directs global Jewry. Their words. Tell us you're controlled by Jews without telling us you're controlled by Jews. $10. That's great. You can say pretty much anything on YouTube. YouTube was also the platform where white supremacy was thriving for a very long time. They've gotten a lot better, but like, don't be crazy. Even if you're not going to talk, I don't really give a shit about talking about Kanye's anti-Semitism at this point. Like, I think that's well established. I want to hear about Nick Fuentes. I want to hear them call that shit out. Tim Pool has a insanely right-wing audience. Be like, hey, do you think Kanye West is getting some of this anti-Semitic messages from Nick Fuentes? You have no reason to fucking defend Nick Fuentes. And every moment that you're not fucking talking about Nick Fuentes is a moment that you're kind of defending him. And it's kind of weird. I can't believe 70,000 people actually fucking voted for him, by the way. Holy
messages
shit.
from people. People are hitting me up and they're like, you shouldn't host them. They're anti-Semitic. They're white supremacists. They're racist. I do find it funny or weird, whatever, that, Nick, they call you a white supremacist. You're here working with or for, one of the most powerful black men, one of the wealthiest and most famous.
Oh my God. They fucking point to his face. He does not like that, dude. Look.
One of the wealthiest and
he's like, yeah, fuck. That's a crazy, for the record, that is a fucking, thank you for clipping that. That's what I was trying to, that is what I was trying to find here. But the Franco Games, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. Philip in the chat, go to a Kanye concert and look at the crowd. That's the demographics. I mean, dude, it's like Aiden Ross, okay? When I think of a Kanye West voter, I think of Aiden Ross. Don't act like people can't meme a president to win. Okay, dude, you're delusional if you think memes are the reason why Donald Trump won the presidency and not fucking the Republican media infrastructure. Yeah, the GOP putting all of its efforts behind Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton's lack of likability and it being just like a horrifying demon, and Fox News putting billions of dollars of propaganda dollars behind Donald Trump was not the reason. It was 4chan memes, dude. You got it. You epically memed him into the presidency with mimetic warfare. I had the rush here after Kanye rushed off the podcast. Lol, lol, lol. He's as soft as he is bigoted. That's 100% correct. Yes. He is very soft. Like, imagine not being able to fucking talk to Tim Pool, bro. Lex Friedman, you might not like him. You might love him, whatever. I think Lex Friedman ultimately is like a center-right guy. But like, yeah, he applied thorough pushback to Kanye West. Tim Pool is not the kind of person to do that. Tim Pool is like gonna let you get away with it as long as you don't say openly things that are just like transparently anti-Semitic. You're gonna be fine. And I cannot believe that Kanye West couldn't even do that. I actually felt bad for Lex Lowell. Yeah, well, he's also Jewish, and Kanye West, who is anti-Semitic, openly was like, you're a liar because you're Jewish, pretty much. Jarvis Johnson, damn, we got all the YouTube greats in here. Jarvis, we gotta have you on the pod. In a weird way, I think this was the best of all worlds because, like, I don't know why I thought that this was going to happen, but I wish Tim Pool would at least address that Nicholas Fuentes is a fucking Nazi. I wished that he would have said that, and the only thing we got was literally just, like, a defense almost. I still can't get past the Lex being center-right assessment. You might not agree with me, but, I do think that Lex Friedman is a centrist, and centrists in the United States of America, which is heavily slanted to the fucking right, are right-wing. Lex Friedman is an actually successful centrist. Unlike Tim Pool, who is not very convincing at being a centrist, Lex can actually come across like a centrist, but by that I mean center-right. That doesn't mean he's like alt-right or right-wing or far-right or anything like that. But I do think that he is a neoliberal. I think he has like some, how do I describe it? He talks positively about Ayn Rand. He is more of every American is an independent, enlightened, centrist libertarian. Yeah. yeah, he likes Jordan Peterson. He likes a lot of these people, psychotic right-wing propagandists. He also loves Elon Musk, which there you go. Like Friedman might not be personally anti-trans. I don't think he is. I've never heard him say anything like that. I think on social issues, he's pretty, I don't know if I would say progressive. He's just a regular neoliberal, Spoke decently highly of you recently. I don't know where he's coming from, but you got to change something if he approves of you. I think the reason why he approves of me is because, like I said, he's not a full-blown psychotic right-winger. He's not. Right wing in this country now is oh, dude, if you're a queer person, you should not be able to walk the fucking streets because a child might see you and automatically turn gay, okay? That's what the fucking right wing position is. So I don't think Lex Friedman is like that. I don't think that's his take at all. His right wing attitude, in my opinion, the reason why I say he's center right is because he is very much in love with capitalism, loves capitalism. And when you love capitalism, you sometimes have to nullify some of its worst forms of oppression. Would you go on, though, to Lex's podcast? Sure. Look, man, there are big platforms that I would go on. I don't give a shit. I've said I would go on Joe Rogan, too, by the way. So, why the fuck wouldn't I go on Lex's podcast? Let's hear what Ben Shapiro has to say about Kanye West.
It really is pretty impressive stuff. Well, meanwhile, I would be remiss if I did not comment, at least in a minor way, on the President of the United States having a meeting with Ye, the anti-Semitic.
I feel like that's a major point of news for you, right? You hate anti-Semitism, right? I thought, wait, why would you only comment on it in a minor way? This is a huge story. Ilhan Omar could say AIPAC has way too much influence on American legislation, and Ben will cut 1 million videos on that. That's not even anti-Semitic. It's just a factually accurate statement. He'll say this is Holocaust denial or whatever the fuck. He will go balls to the wall. But Donald Trump has a literal fucking Nazi in a basically one-on-one dinner alongside another very famous anti-Semite, Kanye West. And Ben's man, I mean, maybe we should just talk about it a little bit, I don't know. It's
Semitic rapper. And apparently Ye brought along Nick Fuentes. And Fuentes is, of course, a terrible human being and white supremacist. It would be, I think, unnecessary to go through all the horrible things that he said over the course of his brief and troubled career. But just maybe one clip will suffice. He's the kind of person who suggests that the Holocaust didn't happen because you can't bake cookies in your oven or enough cookies in your oven or something. We'll play one clip of this schmuck. Just so you understand.
I mean, I cannot believe that I am almost entirely on board with what Ben is saying currently, by the way. He is 1,000,000% correct on this. Nick Fuentes is a Holocaust-denying Nazi. It's true.
Understand who he is. This is the person that Ye has chosen to work with. He's brought on two people. He's brought on Milo Yiannopoulos, the disgraced former quasi-conservative who famously suggested in an interview that when men have sex with boys, it may be beneficial for the boys. And then he was basically thrown out.
Yeah, that is what happened. Kanye West has a pedophilia defender and an out and about Nazi as his two campaign people, dude.
Out of all halls of a polite conversation for that. And then he reinvigorated himself, did Milo Yiannopoulos, as an insane white supremacist Christian radical who puts out statements like this. Nick and Ye didn't discredit Trump's 2024 campaign with that dinner meeting. Trump did that himself by having the most boring low-energy announcement speech in history. He did it by continuing to suck the boots of the Jewish powers that be who hate Jesus Christ, hate our country, and see us all as disposable cattle according to their holy book. So that's Milo Yiannopoulos, the guy who...
By the way, that is so ironic coming from evangelicals because the basis of evangelical support for Israel and Jewish people is literally exactly that. Seeing Jewish people as just a means to an end. Because ultimately, the biblical reasons or the biblical interpretive reasons as to why white evangelical Protestants are the number one defenders of Israel is because they believe that once Israel is exclusively Jewish, once that land all the way to Egypt is given back to the chosen sons and daughters of God, the Jews, then the rapture will happen. And in that process, Jesus Christ will come back on earth. And millions of Americans believe this, by the way, which is fucking insane. Believing that the top of the hour ad break is going to come and go, and I'm not going to run the ad break. Anyway, all jokes aside, yes, the white evangelical Protestants believe that the Armageddon, or not Armageddon, the rapture will happen, and all of the evangelicals will be sucked into heaven,